Call the meeting to order. We have a quorum. Bill is not going to make it tonight, so Roxanne, would you lead us in the pledge of allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Josh, you introduce the visitors, please.
Sure. Let's see, now we have Casey Elliott, John Tribune. We have Mr. Caleb Igo, who is our ag teacher and FFA advisor. And White Mill Nike, our AD. I think that's it.
Rock, you can sure sit up here if you'd like to. Okay, the first thing we have is review and approval of the minutes from the May 6th regular meeting. They were emailed to you by Josh. I looked through them. They looked okay to me.
I so move to approve the minutes.
He moved and seconded to approve the minutes as sent to us. Is there any discussion or questions? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Passes unanimously. Okay. We can do the claims and accounts, John.
Okay, so this time we got a little bit longer list of claims, but it's just prepared this time of the year. This is kind of going to be the norm, and then you're used to it already. And so we got typically about 7 or 8 pages. We got 11 pages today, and there are some that I definitely want to cover. So without further ado, page 1. It's the third item down. It's item 20733. It says Apogee. If you're not familiar with what that is, that's the annual license for our school website. And so that cost is $3,780. So if you see Apogee, that's who runs our school, the provider that runs our school website. I don't have anything else specific on page 1, but if you have any questions on the item there, I'd be more than happy to explain for them. Okay, we'll move on to page 2 then. Page 2, the big one on the page, the elephant on the page is last item then, item 20737. That's the BCH Student Association General Fund transfers. So at the very end of the year, if there is funding left over in our activity accounts that's funded by the general fund, we try to reappropriate those funds for activities for next year. So we did that to the tune of $88,940.25. And again, that's from what I can gather from being a new person here, is this is an intentional act to try to reserve funding for our activities. That way there is some money to fund them in the next year.
And that's budgeted each year, isn't it, Suzanne? We budgeted ahead of time, yeah.
Yeah. So that makes sure, and Brock and all, if you have any questions for him, he can answer for you as well. But we try to make sure that we try to set budgets for each activity and make sure that there's like a minimum budget amount to make sure that they can function as they should. And I've reviewed those, Suzanne's reviewed those, feel pretty good about it. We're going to increase next year, a couple of them. Looks like we've been running a deficit in track. So we're going to increase the budget for that by $2,000. And this year we're in a deficit in tennis. So we're going to increase that by $1,000 and then monitor it next year and see how that goes. Here's the good thing is you got great programs. When you have great programs, though, they get expensive.
Yeah.
So that's just the kind of the give and take you got with it. Any other questions on page 2? Okay, page 3. The first big item on the page there, it's number 20738, Brown and Thompson Oil. You can see that's our fuel bill, and at $4.90 a gallon, that was $22,585.50. Can't wait till the fuel prices go down again. That's some expensive diesel right there. And we have a lot of activity routes and things, and on top of our regular routes.
That's a spring sport activity.
Deal,
Going
yeah, all
everywhere.
kind of stuff, driving everywhere.
And that's at 491, and that's a break compared to what diesel is to everybody else.
Yeah. We could be worse, so we count our blessings. Last item on that page, 20742, that's Building Mind and Body. Obviously, that's Dan's company. He's our owner's rep for our repair project for the ACE building. So you can see his bill there, and you can see it itemized, but the total is $4,614.40.
Dan, we're running out of money. Is it okay if we don't pay you?
You can hold on to that one.
No, we'll get you paid. Thanks.
Yeah.
That's right. So that was page 3 of 11, page 4 of 11. Nothing specific on that page, but if you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to elaborate.
See, there is the Build a Marie also for the bottom one on page 5 to Intuitive.
Yep. As Gary mentioned on page 5, last item 20759, Intuitive Architecture. And that's for Marie, our architect, for $2,296.25. And again, that's in relation to our ACE building repair project. I don't really have any other item on page 5 of 11. Page 6, and I believe I mentioned this last time, it's item 20766 toward the bottom of the page, K-12 Montana Inc. They're our technology partner. We partnered with them to work on some technology infrastructure. They're helping us with some E-rate projects. Most recently, they helped us image all of our devices. We just switched over from a server-based school to a cloud-based school. And so we purchased, you'll see that it says K-12 panel. That's a cloud-based management system versus the Active Directory server-based management system that we had in the past. Long-term, that's going to save us some money in having to replace the servers. They go for about $8,000 to $10,000 a piece. And right now we're just paying for cloud storage. It's the difference, which is much more affordable. And that bill was $4,738.25. Anything else on page 6 of 11? Okay, we'll move to page 7. If you'll notice on that page, toward the bottom, item 20776, that's Montana School Board Association. And that cost is $7,092. That's for the Board of Trustees membership and the policy services. Had some thoughts about maybe looking for something different this year. Our biggest hangup is that they provide our unemployment insurance and our what was the other one?
Workers' comp.
Workers' comp.
Workers' comp.
Workers' comp and employment. And until we find a replacement for those, there's really nobody else to go to. And so I've asked Suzanne, she goes to Masbo next week, to ask about the Montana State Fund, because I've heard that could be an option there, and to see if they could do both, and maybe we can get some bids. But the School Board Association basically has a monopoly on that with Mushwhip and what's the other one?
I think it's
MIP,
Or
Montana Property and Lot. Yeah,
They're all 5-letter and
Yeah,
acronyms.
so they've kind of got a corner of the market, and they basically you purchase one service, you got to purchase them all. And, so I feel like they do provide a good service there, one that we need to continue with until we find a potential replacement. And even though they don't do any of their policy service work anymore, that I have to do it, I am familiar with it. I'm comfortable with how the program works. They're good to ask for advice. If we ever got in a position where we might need some legal representation, depending on what it is. Probably, like right now, we have Kalia Law representing us. That's probably what I'd stick with if we had another big issue. If it was facility related, the folks we had representing us with the ACE there at the end seemed to do pretty well. Was probably in play. Yeah. So I think it really depends on what we're looking at in terms of on legal representation. Yeah. Any questions on page 7 of 11? Okay, we'll move on to page 8 of 11. Got several on this page. Some third item down, 20780, Montana Schools Property and Liability. Hold your breath. That's a big number there, $121,417. And so that's our property and liability insurance. So that's at MIP LIP. Good news is, and I'll touch on this in my Superior report, if you were able to look at it over the weekend, is that's only an increase of a few $100s. So we basically became pretty close to breaking even there. So that's not a big increase. So that's actually good news. And when you think about all the property we have, that's probably fairly reasonable in terms of property and liability insurance.
Now, do we pay part of that out of transportation?
Yes,
Yes.
because they cover our bus garage and all of our buses. You think about it, we got 15 route buses, I think, and right now 5 activity buses. So they cover all those. They cover the other fleet vehicles out here. So it's a lot. The next item is the one right after 20781. That's the it says MTPLC, and it's not much. It's $360, but I want to explain what that is because my name's attached to it. I'm going to a Title I training in early August because I think as I've mentioned in previous meetings, we are under a Title I audit next year. And so this is in prep for that. This meeting is specifically to prepare for the Title I audit. So I thought, it's probably good to attend that and see what if I can glean any gems from that meeting that will help us better prepare for that audit next year.
Where's the meeting at?
It's over in Missoula,
Is it?
the Smith School. Over in that direction. The next item is a couple more down, 20783, Enclosed Building Science. That bill is for $11,891. That was our building envelope specialist, who I think has proven pretty vital to our decision making, and so probably well worth the expense there. That's his bill. And then the last item on that page, 20785, that's NWEA. That stands for Northwest Evaluation Association. That's for our district assessments. So that's how we kind of measure academic progress. We do that for math, for reading, for language, and for science. That price was $6,488.75. That'll get us 2 rounds of testing next year, 1 round of testing in the early fall, and 1 testing in the winter time. So we can measure where we're at the midway point. Questions on page 8 of 11. Okay, we'll move on to page 9. Third item down, 20788. School Services of Montana. Now, they provide our curriculum consortium fees. That's that MECC membership fee. That's for our curriculum consortium. They also provide us with Infinite Campus Help, which is our new student information system. You probably heard me mention in my student report that we meet weekly with them, like every Thursday at 10 a.m. It's been great. I mean, honestly, the price itself, I think, is worth just for the Infinite Campus support because they're always available. They respond within 24 to 48 hours, and they give us information that helps us do what we need to do for state reporting and for managing our student information system. That bill was $5,814.70. The next one on page 9 is toward the bottom of the page, item 20793. That's for TransFinder. That cost is $15,036. That's related to our transportation department. You recall we added a new system for managing our transportation. TransFinder is that system that helps us keep track of our students. It helps us do bus inventory, parts, repairs, and things of that nature. And it gives us a GPS satellite system so we can keep track of our kids when they're en route on the bus. Any questions on page 9? All right. Page 10, almost there. Second item, 20797. Hold your breath for this one. It'll be okay. That's our bond payment. Okay, so that's what that is. I was hoping to be my transfer account statement, but it's not. That's $577,900. of that, $455,000 goes to principal, the remaining to interest. So that's our annual bond payment. That's a big figure though, but that was for our ACE building project, and it was a great project. Hopefully we'll see that through to fruition very soon and reap the benefits for years to come. Any questions on page 10? With that, we had 74 claims from 70 vendors for a total of $945,252.87. And of course, on the last page, page 11, shows you the breakdown of how we accounted for those claims from each fund.
How's our general fund looking for the money that we'll have left at the end of the year? Do we know yet?
We're allocating it right now, or preparing to reallocate it. But there's not much.
I said like 200 and some thousand. When I looked at it right after the meetings.
But most of that's already allocated for expenses like
Right, for normal expenses, right?
So we only had about 52,000 left after all that. That's kind of our best estimate. And I try to estimate conservative, so maybe a little more. That was enough for me to go ahead and approve all of Jack's requisitions for next year. All of the operational supplies, the chem search for the boiler treatments, and things like that.
How does that compare to normal, Susan?
Anytime we've looked like percentage wise, we've been at like percentage point 2 or 3 ahead of last year.
Okay.
Yeah,
Good.
We're looking basically a percentage point ahead of schedule this year, which is good compared to last year. But I take that kind of with a grain of salt because prices are higher this year too. So the dollar doesn't go quite as far. So sometimes that can be a little bit of smoke and mirrors. I like to be as on time and under budget if possible with everything. And but I think we're doing okay. I'm getting a better grasp on our budget and the expenses and claims. And Susie's been a big help in that. And Megan has too. I'm still calling Megan occasionally. And but we'll get there. I think next year will be even better. Now that I got a better idea of how this works, how our process works. Brock's been a big help too with the activity accounting.
Any questions or comments on the claims?
We move to approve the claims and accounts estimated.
Been moved. Who seconded?
Chris.
Chris, been moved and seconded to pay the claims and accounts as presented. Any questions? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Passes unanimous. Next item of business is public comment. I don't have anything. Does anybody have anything?
Caleb, did you want to mention anything about work on the extended contract?
Oh, yes, if we have just a brief moment for that. I don't want to take up time of your time, so I know we've got folks on the phone there as well, but last year, when I was in the hospital with my daughter before, you guys approved 15 extra days for me in the summertime, which I appreciate. That was the second best thing that happened that day. And so for those 15 days, that's just kind of a breakdown of all of the FFA and ag things that happen outside of contracted school time. Things like pig and lamb weigh-in, practices after school, meetings, trips, and it kind of printed out funky, but at the end there we can see that for those 15 days, I just want you to know you're getting your money's worth, I guess, on it. For those 15 contract days, I've got pretty close to about 600 hours outside of school time with about 1,100 student contacts throughout the year. So just hopefully you think that's money well spent, and I appreciate you working with me to bring that back. So I think that summer stuff is important. I think the stuff that we do in the summer is important, and
Well, I think it's important with this, the
appreciate
way your program has been progressing anyway. I think this kind of goes with the whole thing, David. I think appreciate the hours you put in and what a great job you do.
that. We just got back from Moscow, Idaho for the U of I Tag Days contest and placed in the top 10 in the Idaho State contest in vet science and livestock and forestry. So that's kind of fun to go hang with big dogs in Idaho, I guess. Weighed some pigs on Saturday. That was fun. And then we're going to take 3 kids with me to Indianapolis for a national community service project kind of conference sponsored by the Blank Foundation. So we'll see what that brings. So anyway,
How many kids went to Moscow?
I took 6. That's what I can fit in that van. So it was a really good trip.
Good.
U of I does a really good job of rolling out the red carpet, and they make kids feel welcome, like they want to be there. And as a Bozeman guy, I wish that we could figure that out a little bit.
Yeah.
So I didn't have it on the agenda or anything to renew that extended contract. I felt like we've got it in the budget. And so if the board's okay, I can certainly have the July agenda if we wish, but since it's been approved and we have the budget, if the board's okay with us just continuing that unless we get to a budget crunch sometime in the future.
Sure.
And I think that's fine with me.
Everybody okay with that?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Go look at the grizzly bears at Pullman.
We did actually, yeah.
Good.
They were splashing. The kids were amazed by how much they stink.
Yeah. Yes, they
They
do.
were splashing around in the stock tanks. Of course, the best thing about Pullman is not the grizzly bears, it's the creamery at the college there. So if you got to go eat the ice cream and cheese that WSU makes, it's exceptional.
Yes.
Yeah, so the dairy cows, U of I, they truck the milk from U of I dairy to the WSU creamery, and they make their own like 18 different kinds of cheese and 30 kinds of ice cream. Better than Wilcox's.
Wow.
It's the real deal. So go to Pullman and try the creamery sometime.
Thank you, Caleb. Anything else under public comment? No, we'll go to superintendent's report. I think the first thing is Dan is up, I think. Did we lose him?
Nope, I'm here.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to pull up that report, man.
All right, perfect. Yeah, guys, so it's pretty short and sweet tonight. We had a facilities meeting here a couple weeks ago to kind of review the discussion of going to a EFS type system. And so really behind the scenes, we've been just cramming on all of the study material that was provided by Sean Scott, who's our building envelope specialist. He has changed the way I look at buildings, and is a very smart individual that is really trying to make sure, as we've said in the past, to not cover up something, just to get it done, and to do it right and make sure this thing's better than originally designed, and obviously originally constructed. So the package you've got is, like I said, is pretty quick. The team this week, we actually had a meeting on Tuesday. Sorry this didn't get out as early as I wanted, but I figured having more up-to-date data was better. The design team, in conjunction with Langless and Enclose, were developing. We reviewed on Tuesday about 350 pages of specifications to make sure that we're really dialing in for the provider that's going to install this EFA system. So Langless has been working with contractors, pre-qualifying 3 folks that can deliver the exterior finish system, so the EFS, as well as 3 storefront companies that would be responsible for the removal and reinstallation of all of our windows and the repairs of our doors. So with your guys' approval in May, they've been coordinating to qualify those folks to make sure that they're able to deliver the project in the schedule that we have to provide. And so the design schedule, so in the upcoming work, we're talking about the drawings you have in this package. You'll see there's the start of the design documents that Langless and the subcontractors will use to actually build and fix the building. As we discussed with our facilities group, this system is a fairly simple system, but with the existing type of structure, there's a lot more details that are having to be developed to ensure that we don't have any weak spots in the design from an envelope system standpoint. So that's what a lot of this work has started to go into these sets of drawings that you're looking at. Josh, if you want to, I've got it pulled up as well. If you want to, I think it's on page 12 in that package, you'll see kind of some elevation drawings with some potential color as well as some patterning on that structure. As you know, with the block that we have what's called a smooth face CMU block, and then we have it's basically the textured or the rough face. So there's going to be we're going to use those same patterns to develop our palette or our look of the building to maintain some character to it.
Dan,
Yep,
could I interrupt real quick?
absolutely.
Could you update the other board members on why the facilities committee decided to go with this EFS deal? That it's gonna be
Absolutely.
200,000 more than we thought?
Yeah. So as if you recall back in the original discussion of the project, both Langless and myself were not excited about an EFS solution, and that's an exterior applied insulation with a concrete type finish on it. In the past, the systems, years ago were very prone to birds using them for nesting purposes. With the flickers that we have in our area, they like the sound of it. They punch holes through it, and then sparrows come in and use it for nesting. The newer systems, we have a bird-proof product now, and we, through the use of Sean's contact, that's with Enclose, our envelope specialist, he really, from a building science standpoint, this solution's going to fix our building envelope better than any of the other solutions that we had proposed. And something that is exterior applied, and we stop the moisture from ever getting near the building, near the structure component. The drawback to it is that with that split face block and our smooth face block, we have to apply what's called a purge coat, which I had to look it up. It's a term that Sean uses, but basically we're applying a material to seal our block, but then we also have to put a thickness on it to actually smooth out the face of our material. And that was something that we hadn't initially anticipated, which added a premium additional like $5 a square foot to the project. So, but from a building operation, long-term performance, the quickly Langless and myself felt for the benefit of the district, that's a better solution. And they have it's basically a 20-pound mesh that they put into the lower 6 feet of the building. That's where most of the damage happens from impact of either, people flinging rocks, potential vandals, not that you have any in Dillon, but Sean was able to show examples of the manufacturer allowing people to walk up with an aluminum bat and swing as hard and as many times on on a structure that had this in place as a permanent finish, and nobody could make a dent in it. So it really encouraged us that we're not going to put something that is going to end up having a negative visual effect because it gets damaged. During that discussion, we found a hotel in Missoula that I didn't realize they had used this same product. It's 15 years old and it looks like new. There's no damage to it. But there's a 2-year-old, well, it's about an 18-month-old hotel chain that Langless built that used the standard EFIS system that has giant holes in it from birds. So a new product that they didn't want to spend the money for this security is already failing, which is what our concern was from the get-go. But the hotel that we went and reviewed, and I walked it, took a bunch of pictures. It's amazingly held up, and it was installed 15 years ago. And one of the companies that we have as pre-qualified for this was the installer of it. So he's very confident in the environment that Dillon has with the birds that we have in our area. We're not going to have any of that damage that we would see with the regular product. So from the building science and performance, Sean convinced us that this is probably our best solution to make the building perform the way it should. And one of the things that we're going to look at is the utility consumption that we feel we're going to gain. So we should see a pretty decent savings on your gas and electric bill from that building, because right now, as it's tempered, that building is more or less leaking air through places it shouldn't, and this will seal up that building. So the overall efficiency of the building should have a significant increase in benefit to you. As I listen to the claims and hear your gas bill, we want to shrink other bills to compensate for some of those things. So after Sean was able to present that to the facilities committee, they agreed that even for the premium that we were hoping to not have to spend, will be the much better choice and long-term project for the district. The manufacturer has said, this is a 50-year kind of solution, but that's just because it hasn't been around longer than that, but feels that this is something that the district is the maintenance is going to not be what we had considered when we initially kind of put it off to the side. So anybody have any questions or want additional information?
And
Go ahead.
didn't we think the original concept we were looking at was to go inside and further the walls out and whatnot?
Yep.
And that was close to 700,000, and this is about 950. Isn't that what we came up with? We think?
Yeah. It's 950. There's about $40,000 of contingency in that for any unknowns. That is a budget number. That is not a hard bid number. And so with these pre-qualified folks, the 19th of this month, the drawing should be at a point where those can be bid. Our anticipation is that Langless is projecting to start the work on the 6th of July. And the EFIS system is about a 4 to 6 week installation. And then there's a week or two of fixing and repairing around the windows on the interior of those classrooms. The way they're going to stage it is they're going to focus on the classroom sides first, so that a lot of that work can be done with no disruption as your students come back onto campus. The only thing after the start of school would be our commissioning agent, and that would be the person that would come in and make sure that the building systems from a mechanical standpoint are functioning as they were originally designed for, and then make any tweaks based on how much better the building is sealed, to where we feel that there's going to be those efficiencies and we can tweak that at that time. And that would happen once the buildings are occupied and those systems are running in an occupied state. They'll do that in the shoulder months. So that would be your, late August, September, and then towards the middle of October would want to come back as we start to add heat to the building to make sure that it's functioning the way that it was originally intended. So yeah, it was, and then in our overall budget, I had an additional about $37,000 of contingency just for the unknowns. We've had some savings on our design side. I've got budgeted in my report up on page 1. I discuss our commissioning agent. I had originally plugged in about $35,000 of costs. Right now, initial estimate through Elkhorn brought that down to about 15.5 in his initial look at it. And then he's feeling like there might be some other testing that could be done that could even shrink his piece more, so that he's not necessarily spending the amount of time that he would have to, as if it was a brand new building. So I feel like through some of our items and then through a bidding process, we should see some savings, would be my hope, to try to drive that thing down sub 900 is the goal. And I know that I've spoke with Langless about trying to drive efficiencies into it as well. That purge coat is a big one. Keeping the thickness, right now we only need 2 inches of exterior insulation. Some of those details, because of that split face block, we may have to add additional depth to it. But by pre-sealing the CMU and trying to shrink that purge coat, we're trying to keep that down to 2 inches, which would shave some dollars out of their budget as well. So with the goal in mind that we don't have more money to throw at it, they've got to find every dollar that we can possibly find, to get you guys across the finish line.
We, on the facilities committee, Mike sat in for Roxanne, and Cole and Mike and I, after visiting with Dan and the Langless people and this EFS guy, I think we all were in agreement that this was the better route to go, weren't we, Mike and Cole? I mean, even though it's going to cost us more money wise with the settlement that we got through the lawsuit and what we had left from the original bond, we should be okay to get this done. So I like the idea of it being supposedly a 50-year product. With the other type of deal, we were going to have to, waterproof it several times and repaint it and all kinds of things. I mean, this just seemed to make sense once they got past the bird problem. So
yeah, and I think the efficiencies that you'll gain from a utility consumption will help justify it as well. And that's where Sean feels real confident that this solution will be a much better representation of how it should have been built originally, I believe. In some of these images, we're showing a brick pattern as a wainscot. It can be brick or block, or, the new systems with EFS are truly amazing. They can make it look like metal. They can make it look like CMU. They can make it look like brick. We're asking for an alternate price to offer up, hey, to keep the look of the masonry, is to say, hey, if we can create accents of a material that resembles what was there, it might be easier for the public to go, oh, geez, well, there's still block there, because it truly looks, even from 6 inches away, it looks like real material. So we were asking for some alternate pricing to give you guys an option of, hey, here's for, we saved here, we could afford to do this and the price doesn't go up. What would you guys like to see? And then all of the color selection will be based on, standard colors that are going to have a similar shade of color as what's there. So hopefully it wouldn't be something that would stick out as a total change. You know, it wouldn't be an odd duck sitting there compared to the nice look of the block that you have now.
Yeah, I think my biggest concern right now is time. Every
Yep.
day I look up there, it goes by, we get closer to school starting, and I start to get really nervous. How confident are you that we can get this thing rolling according to plan and finish this thing on time?
I spoke with JR, who's with Langless yesterday, just to confirm my hope is that, you know, this thing is an 8-week turnaround. And that's basically, you know, buttoning up the project as students come back onto campus and contracting's out of the way. He's very confident with the subs that he's got lined up for the EFS that the work can be done. And then it's their little bit of time to do any touch up, any kind of interior cleaning that might need to happen. He's very confident that start of school students aren't going to be impacted with any of that construction stuff going on.
What about the status of the AIA contract? Any
Oh,
updates?
yes. I Langless, it sat in the ether in Lauren Cantrell, the PM for Langless for, well, when you and I got it back finally from the district's attorney, we made some changes. She had some recommendations that we implemented, sent it out, and he actually just got it back to me today. So I'll do a final quick review, and you know, as soon as they get pricing, we can plug that in. Since we haven't instituted it yet, there's no fees that they're charging. It's all part of their project costs. So I would hope that here in the next week I'll have it. Well, this next week I'll have it finalized with our comments. They had 2 things that they wanted to look at. It was regards to turnaround for information. So we have since we don't have a lot of time, in a typical contract, we have 10 business days to respond to a question. They would like it to go to 5 or less. So it's things that I'm okay with because we know how important getting quick decisions is back to them. So it wasn't anything as any kind of a legal, litigation or any of those things. It's more about how fast we have to respond to them when they send us a question. Their billing didn't change, as far as when they can bill, how long we have to make payment on those bills. None of that changed. So feel confident it's a no-brainer. They didn't have any comments on the 201, which is what Deborah looked at last. She had some comments. We made those changes. They didn't have any concerns with any of those changes. So it just sat in his inbox for the last 3 weeks. So it should be ready to be signed as soon as we can plug a price into it.
And what about, I see that you want to have a facility team meeting?
So
22nd?
Yeah, so I was looking, and so on the 19th, we should have our finalized drawings. I'm thinking that week we're going to want to approve colors. We're going to want to approve, the schedule so that we understand if there's something that's coming up within the district that, hey, this day we have to have access to that parking lot or something. We need to get that on their schedule so they know as we start to get close to school or students coming back onto campus, how do we make sure that we're not obstructing or taking up space that needs to be allocated for a district use. So we'll just cover a few of those things. I've got it tentative because I'm waiting to see if Langless feels that's too early or not. But I think it would be a good thing just for some final approvals. I threw it in there just to have you guys think about it to see if there were better days than not that week, if it needed to happen.
Okay. Dan, I can be available Monday or Wednesday of that week, but Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, I'm not
Okay.
available at all.
Well, that Wednesday would probably be better because it'll give them a couple days with the drawings to have any additional questions that we might need to answer.
Hmm.
And it's not necessarily a have to, it's more of a placeholder that if there's things that we need to make some decisions on for them, we can do that.
How,
I would recommend letting Mike just handle this next one since he did the last one.
I think so. Mike did great the last time. If I can't be there, we have a grandson getting married in Big Fork the end of that week, and I got family coming in. I got to pick up people from airports and back and forth, and so it's a busy time for us. So, but I certainly don't need to be there if Mike would be available. I sure feel good about that. So.
Yeah, and it would be something that we could do virtually again, to where if people were traveling and they, so that we don't burden you guys with having to make big arrangements to get into the district or anything.
Yeah.
But it was just something I wanted to see if that week were to work or not. Just to kind of have it as a place for us to plug in. Just in case they needed some decisions made.
Okay. Well, just kind of let us know how it's going, and we'll figure it out, I suppose.
Yep.
Cole and Roxanne, are you available that week if we need to, and Mike?
Yeah.
If we need to.
Potentially, that's what I was saying,
Yeah.
maybe just have Mike stand in for me.
Yep.
Honestly.
And for both of us.
Keeps the information. You guys. I should be available. I think.
Cole understands it
First, true, yeah.
the best of any of
I
us
know,
anyway. I
exactly.
feel so comfortable with Cole and Josh both. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was about it. I just wanted to kind of give you guys that quick, and as we talk about fees with this stretching out, it'll be a quick hit for us. In close, our envelope specialist, he would, he's been saying, hey, when I get out there, but bringing him out here is a very expensive endeavor. So Marie and I are going to try to do as much as we can to not require that through pictures, video calls, those kind of things. And Langless is going to do the same, where daily logs, photos, just to try to avoid that. That expense is just seems like a lot of money for, a few hours on site. It just doesn't make a whole lot of financial sense. If we can capture it through photos and video with him while things are getting installed.
Anything else for Dan? All right, thanks, Dan. We
Thank you,
appreciate the
Dan.
update.
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you guys. Yeah, enjoy your evening.
All right, we'll move on to 6.2, Superintendent's Report, notification of acceptance of resignations. Carlos Fuentes, one of our custodians, unfortunately, he resigned. There's a copy of his letter, his 2-week notice, and district response to that. So we've got a couple open custodial positions. We will have those posted next week. We'll actually have several positions posted, and actually several, no teaching positions, but we currently have an open one-on-one special education para position open. We have a full-time custodian position for both the main building and ACET building that does both those buildings. And we have a full-time activity custodian, does the BW Lodge, and then a part-time activity custodian that we'll use just during the activity season to make sure we keep down on the overtime as much as we can this year. We also
Are we getting any applications for any of them?
well, we just posted on the website
okay.
yesterday, and it'll be in the paper next week.
Okay.
I think we had that special education prayer one posted, and I have had one application for that one, but that person's not moving in till the end of July. And so I'm like, as soon as you get here, let's get an interview set up. So hopeful about that. Other than that, that's all I've got there. Jack I think he's got an application for maybe the part-time activity position. And so we're hoping to get these filled pretty quickly, especially the custodial positions, because Jack's needing that help now. We are fortunate that we were able to hire, I believe, 2 additional student workers. So I think we're up to 6 total. I can't recall exactly, the names of the two other students. I'll try to get those for you for the July meeting, but they're a big help. So we have Ken Parmalee, who we hired last year. He's sticking with us. And then the 6 students and Jack right now are a custodial crew this summer. We also are going to be advertising next week for a full-time transportation department mechanic. And so with John right now is great, but he's asked for maybe cut back on some hours. I mean, John's over 70 years old now and still turning the wrench. And we're not trying to push John out. We're going to give John a part-time contract if we're able to find a full-time person. Let John work on an as-needed basis. If he wants to come in, or if we need him in specialized service and knowledge, we'd bring him in. I would hope that he could be a mentor to somebody new, so we can really get all that we can of his years of experience and knowledge, transportation, and in mechanics for school buses. And so that one will also be posted as well. So we're hopeful we'll find somebody to fill that position. We're posting it $18 to $22 an hour, depending on experience. Any questions on acceptance resignations or open positions, things of that nature? Okay, preschool bus driver wage. This would be an action item later. I don't know if it's on the consent agenda or if it's on the action item agenda. But I'm recommending tonight an increase in our preschool bus driver pay, moving from the current $12 an hour to $15 per hour, which is more in line with our current route driver pay. That's one we just didn't kind of look at last year. Susie had kept that in my mind and reminded me about that. And is that Rita?
Mhm.
Rita Roeder is our preschool bus driver, and we feel like she's been with us for a while now, and that raise is very deserving. Any questions on that? Okay, we'll move on to K-12 Montana Services and Contract. So I mentioned them when we're going over the claims. They're our technology partner for a lot of the technology projects we have going on. We've done a lot with them. And so in talking with Paul, our technology director, about it, we feel like since a lot of these systems are new, and we still have hopefully that PA system replacement on the horizon, which I'd love to accomplish before the 27-28 school year, if funds available, if we have the funds to do it, which we're probably looking at our building reserve funds if we were to tackle something like that. And that's going to be a low 6-figure project. We estimate somewhere in that $90,000 to maybe $120,000 range. Would be nice to have them on board to help prepare for that. And if we have any questions on some of these new systems, to have them to be able to come in. And so that's going to cost us $35,000 total for a 12-month period, or $2,970 per month. And that's with them always on call and having monthly visits, once a month on-site visits to meet with Paul and to help us with any technology issues that we have, especially with our infrastructure upgrades. Now we're going to account for that, part of that through REAP. So about $18,000 will come out of our rural education grant that we get from the feds, and the rest will have to come out of a general fund or flex fund. And so I'll be recommending that contract renewal tonight. Any questions on that? K-12 Montana Tech Services. Okay, next one. Another calendar revision. I kind of wondered about this one when I got to look at the calendar earlier. We had at the very end of the year, we had our very first staff leadership team meeting. That's different from our district level leadership team, where it's mostly administrative personnel. This is more myself, Audra, Brock, will be Greg next year, and also 3 teachers. And we were looking at that, and we have a January PR on the holiday. I believe that's, what day is that? That's Martin Luther King Day. And we had a February holiday. That was a request of District 10 to try to get more in line with their calendar, and that's for President's Day. And now District 10's taken both those days off as a holiday. We were only taking one off as PIR, January date, and then the February date was going to be a holiday. Well, we're having finals in our local MAPS testing basically in early January then, and they're real squished up together, like basically back to back. That's not really ideal. I'm not sure if the students would be too pleased with that either, or how serious they'd take those assessments. So in an effort to make that a little better logistically and to spread those assessments out, we were proposing to move that, to swap those days essentially. The PIR in January for the holiday in February. It's not going to affect District 10 at all because they're taking both days off anyway. And that'll give us a little more time. So then we'll do that PIR in February, which will allow us to do our local testing the first 2 weeks of February and give us a week break between our finals in mid-January and our local testing. So it just kind of works better with the logistics. Any questions on that request that's the last one in case something crazy happens.
That just makes sense, it sounds like.
Yeah. Okay, next, I've got the, let's see. That was calendar revision. On math textbook adoption, and you'll find some information in your board packet for this as well. And it's that's the college algebra textbook by Ron Larson. It's the 11th edition, and that was in 2021. Well, they just come out with another one, which is about almost $400 per book. The 11th edition I can get for anywhere from $85 to $125 per book. And 2021 still sounds pretty new to me.
Yeah. And
so I mentioned earlier that School Services Montana, that's also part of our curriculum consortium, had Billy Taylor, who's Bobby Conan's sister, review it for us and review it with University of Montana Western's guidelines or expectations. And it matched up really well. It came back as fully aligned. And so I should have mentioned we're partnering with UMW to do this dual enrollment course, which is brand new. And then you get to think, well, we don't have a book for it yet. So we got to get a textbook. I'll be recommending adoption of that textbook tonight.
How many will we have to buy?
I'm going to buy as many as I can find on Amazon right now. It's about 27.
Okay.
Total cost to be about $3,500 to $4,000 for a full classroom set. We only expect one full class in this inaugural year, which is good though. You know, dual credit, Western. I mean, it's hard to beat that.
Yeah.
Next, I have a superintendent contract request. And so those 5 user lose it days went pretty quick. And I am burning up all my vacation days pretty quick as well. So I would like to request an additional 5 user lose it days because I'll use them. I'm not planning on banking any of my vacation or days like that. The only thing I'm really banking is sick because I don't get sick too often, thank goodness. And mostly because I'd like to use those with my kids that do activities outside of school sponsored stuff and watch them do a few more things. Like for my youngest daughter, who'll be a freshman next year, she's a gymnast. Well, we don't have gymnastics. Now, maybe she is looking at track and she's going to do a Western camp here later this month. So I'm interested that she's getting interested in school sports now. But she's been doing training in Bozeman. And now this summer, she's been in Idaho Falls 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday for about 6 hours a day. And it's doing pretty well down there. And so I'd like to be able to go watch her compete some when they do their activities. Now, I'd only do that if it didn't fall on, if there wasn't something important for the district going on that Greg couldn't cover. And so that's just would be one request tonight.
Will you want to go into executive session to talk about that or not?
Doesn't matter to me.
Is your sick and vacation the same as the teachers? When
No.
you combine?
No, it's through it's the federal guidelines. So I get 15 vacation days, and I think what 5 sick days they accumulate as with work experience. Same thing for vacation. Like the vacation doesn't increase until like what 10 years. There's 5, something like that.
Yeah, I can't remember. It's like a one kind of coding.
10, 15, yeah.
You get 15. I thought you had 18 with your years.
Nope, because when you go to somewhere new, you start at the bottom again.
Okay.
No, it's based on Montana years.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
How many does he have? Then you think 18?
I thought it was 15, but I could be wrong. I'm not even sure.
I understand where you're coming from, Josh, but where we did the 5 last year and with the days you have, I don't know if it's something we want to consider.
One of those things, if you don't ask, the answer's definitely gonna be no.
Good points, good point.
Not gonna hurt my feelings. But again, that's what I'd use it for, wouldn't be for anything frivolous. I don't have time for lavish vacations. So it'd be either visiting family or watching kids.
We just want to wait and talk about that interaction items and
Sure.
All right, we'll move on then. I got one thing on here I wanted to touch on before I forget, just to plant the seed in your mind, because I'll have it. We really need to have a July meeting. We just with the ACE building.
sure.
Look, there's going to be something. We've got handbooks to approve. There's policy language needs to be cleaned up, and so I feel like it would be really good if we could. If we need to move it, fine. I'll make it work. But one thing I wanted to talk about, one policy, is in regards to the Montana Youth Challenge Academy. And so I wanted you to kind of be thinking about this before the next meeting. Right now, our current policy states that we would consider a graduate from the academy for a BCHS diploma if they score 10% above the HiSET requirement, which right now is a 50. NYCA requires 45, so 10% higher is 50. They also have to complete the program at NYCA, and they have to have administrative approval. That still leaves a little bit of, to me, that's still a little ambiguous. What I would like to propose is changing some of that. I would like to propose that we reduce the HiSET to the normal threshold of 45. That way it's consistent across the board. It's pretty easy. We're not looking at numbers and looking at what 10% is there. But I would like to add 2 other requirements. I feel like if we're going to consider a graduate from NYCA for a BCHS diploma, that we should know who they are. They should have spent some time in our system, some time at BCHS, because there's been some that may not have spent any time here at all requesting a diploma, or maybe just 1 semester. I would think that they should spend a minimum of 2 semesters at BCHS before we would consider them for a diploma. That way they feel like one of ours that way.
So
And
then
then technically
they would do that prior to going to the,
correct. And so you have to be 16. So technically you're going into your junior year before you can join the program, right? So that means you've had 2 years, essentially 4 semesters, right? To give it a go. So I think we're kind of being flexible there, and I'm amenable. This is a discussion here. This is just kind of where I'd like to start. Because if you're going to get a BCHS diploma, that means you were a beaver. If you've only been here for a semester, it doesn't really feel like that.
yeah, we should kind of know them, I think.
So I think if you were here at least a year total in that 2-year span, because I know some of these kids that go to these programs, they've experienced some challenges and some hardships. So I feel like, well, if we've given you 2 years to get at least 2 semesters here, that accounts for maybe some potential hardships and challenges. So that'd be one requirement I'd like to look at adding. Again, lowering the HiSETs, but adding this one. The next requirement I'd like to add is, well, to graduate with a diploma from the state of Montana, the minimum requirement is 20 credits. That's the minimum. We require at BCHS 22 credits. Now, right, it's 44. We're transitioning to get it in line with the state. So that's what it'll look like, 22 credits. So 2 credits over the state's minimum requirement. And they also require a certain number of English classes, math, science, social studies, and electives that you have to meet. Well, in my experience in the past, in other districts, I've had academy graduates asked to get a diploma from our district. They may only have 13 to 14 credits. Now, they may have passed the program at NYCA, and they got the 3.5. You can only get 3.5 credits in their program. And so their total credits might have only been 13, 14, 15 credits, and they passed the HiSET. Well, the HiSET is a diploma equivalent, right? And so that's an honor. That's a good document. It's a thing you leave with that you earn. But I don't necessarily think the academic rigor is comparable. I don't believe that just because that's great, and I support the system. It's a great program, and I'm glad we have it because it helps so many of our youth that would slip through the cracks if we didn't have it otherwise. But it's not the same as earning that diploma. The academic rigor, the 20 credits, that would be my other requirement. And that's also showing some leniency, right? Because our traditional BCH graduates, we require 22. But by requiring the state minimum, we're saying, okay, you gotta at least have that before we would consider giving you a diploma. So pass the high set with a minimum score, be here a minimum of 2 semesters at BCHS, and have 20 credits according to the state standards. That to me is equivalent to getting that a diploma.
Josh, how many have actually taken advantage of this? Do you know?
We actually had 2 that wanted to apply this year. Now they also have to petition the board to do this, right? Well, the way I want to do it is they have all their ducks in a row so that when they come to the board, I can say they've satisfied the requirements.
Mhm.
And that's why this year I didn't feel comfortable doing it because I didn't know the kids. I didn't, know where they're at with their requirements. And there's 3 already next year in next year's cohort.
Okay.
Now, a couple of those may return to us. One may not. I don't know if it'll work out with all of them or not. But so this is, I guess, a thing that I'm learning about our school district is we have a handful, looks like, that goes to that program.
So the 3 that potentially would want to do it this next year, have they been here for 2 years?
For 2 of them, for sure, have been here. I think all 3 were here all year.
Okay.
For sure. All year. Attendance
Yeah.
was sketchy for 1.
Yeah.
But yeah,
How many credits would they have?
each case is unique. But for 2 of them, for sure, they're on track to graduate. 100% on track. They could even, because they're going in all of these candidates would be going in as juniors. None of them are going in as a senior. So there's a chance that they could come back to us. So they have to decide, are they trying to go get their high set, graduate from the program, or is this just get those credits, return to BCHS, and then finish out senior year?
Mm-hmm.
So that's another benefit of the program. It gives them lots of options.
It's doable though.
Yeah.
It's doable.
Okay. It seems reasonable.
Seems reasonable to me. I mean, I'm a huge proponent of the program, but at the
Mhm.
same time, it doesn't seem right if they haven't attended school here and don't have
Yeah,
the minimum requirements, why they should get a diploma from BCHS.
yeah, I agree.
Mhm.
Yeah, I would be fine with that, I think.
Mhm.
The rest of the board feel okay about that?
Yes.
Yes.
Caleb, how do you feel about that as a teacher?
I mean, but I don't know that it's going to impact me quite as much as some of the
No,
core subjects, because those part-time kids are probably going to be at the back of the line for some currently very full ag electives. So, my impact on that is probably negligible. I mean, I think that numbers are good. I think that A&B money and enrollment numbers are positive. It might help offset some of the homeschool things that we're dealing with. I think it's a phenomenal program.
Yeah.
It provides a lot of, exactly like Dr. Patterson said, a lot of those kids slip through the cracks, and it provides something that we can't maybe provide here,
Mhm.
and then they can come back here and finish out. So I don't see a downside.
So a kid that spent some time at the other high school and then went to the youth challenge and graduated there should probably contact that high school.
I would
for
think.
a
You would think,
For a diploma,
but-
right?
to their own
I-
homeschool
Yeah.
rather than ours.
Yeah,
but there have been kids that have went to, let's say, because again, it's 2 years before you're going in junior year. They may have been in another Montana school for more semesters than they were here, maybe 2 or 3. And yet it's so convenient, right? Because we're right here, they will request a BCHS diploma. So I feel like we need to make this less ambiguous. We need to have some clear defined lines
Mhm.
about what the requirements are, because it's putting a lot of pressure on the administration right now to make that recommendation, right?
Yes.
And they're asking me like, well, why don't you consider them? Well, I guess it's really, let me get some board input on this before we go into next year. And but it's something to think about. Talk to amongst your friends about it, friends that, folks that work for the program. I spoke with Jana about it.
Yes, I was curious.
About it,
Did you talk to them about it and
Yeah.
what were their
and
thoughts?
they have their own feelings about it. And so I told Jana, I've mentioned it, and I'm going to try to get the board to take some action on it this summer. I told her how I felt, what I was looking for, what I'd feel comfortable with. But it's not just
Did
much.
she seem to agree or understand what we're talking about or not necessarily?
I'd say to a point. I mean, it's a great program. It's a valuable program. They feel like it provides a different experience. That should mean account for something. To me, it's just, you got 3.5 credits versus that's all they can earn in that program versus, achieving that 20. And because what we're saying is meeting proficiency. And the HiSET says you're proficient to a point, but we're saying what we at BCHS make our kids be proficient in, you got to pass all these classes. That's our expectation for proficiency, right? So that just, to me, the rigor just seems the academic rigor. I want to be clear because the physical rigor there's no question about that. It's the way they can grow socially and emotionally, that's unquestioned. But the academics, it's a little bit different. I feel I feel like our expectations are a little bit higher academically.
I wouldn't mind reaching out to a couple of people that I know that teach up there and just kind of ask them.
Sure, that's a good idea. Or
Do you ever talk to Melissa?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
You ever talk to Melissa? She'd be great. She was the principal in Whitehall.
she's
you know,
BCHS
she's
grad.
BCHS grad, and she's heads up that youth challenge now. Nice, great lady.
Sure.
be good to visit with her.
Yeah.
Is this something that we can push to the next meeting to?
It is. I just wanted to mention it tonight. It's not even on the agenda to take action. That's
Okay.
it's like, I better mention it so you can have some time, process and think and talk to others. It is a big decision because it's a hometown program. And I just want to make sure that our diploma holds value. That's always bothered me. Anywhere I've worked, I feel like sometimes diplomas have become devalued. Like they don't mean as much as they used to. And I feel like that they should. And it's because it takes a lot of hard work and effort to earn that diploma. And I want it to be earned is all. If we're going to grant that you earned it, and we should celebrate that.
Okay. I have a person or two I can visit with too if I remember.
Yeah.
Thanks for bringing that up, Josh.
I'm just going to make a note to call Melissa.
I talked to Trent quite a bit.
That's what I wondered about Trinity.
Yeah.
But Jim Huber, he teaches.
Yeah, he does, yeah.
The gym's still up there.
Yeah,
Yeah, Jim was up there.
yeah, and I would have to think that his
My-
classes are pretty
my-
good.
Cousin Steve Love, who was his superintendent in
Mhm.
Charlotte, he's the recruiter for the whole western half of the state
Okay.
for him too. I'll talk to him too,
Okay.
where he's been a superintendent.
Mhm.
The good thing about the laws, it allows our local control to decide
Right,
what we're going to require to grant that diploma.
Yeah.
So just in my experience, it's all over the board across the state.
right.
It depends on the district. Moving on, important items this summer, just kind of let you know what's going on. End of year state reporting, there's 7 total reports due this month. I've got 5 of the 7 done, and it is a bear to do with Power School, but we're getting there. Revised update the strategic plan, I still have to do that. Revised and update policy, student faculty handbooks, and you can see the rest. There's a lot going on. County transportation meeting. Mike, you went last year. If anybody wants to go, that's coming up July 15th. That's a Wednesday at 10 a.m. We're at the courthouse and with the commissioners meeting there.
I don't know. Either one. Okay. Usually lasts an hour.
Yeah. Then you can see my June schedule to date, and that's all I've got for the superintendent's report.
Anybody have any questions of Josh? Okay, so none on the assistant principal's report. Does Rob have anything or do you know?
I didn't have anything from Rob. I would say that in my reports and discussions with Rob and Miss Rouse, Chrissy Rouse, that graduation went well,
Good thing.
and had positive feedback about it. Seems like it was a great celebration, well attended. I won't get into the spring activities, but we're pretty excited about how we finished there as well. So all in all, I think we had a good close to the school year. No major. We had one issue. We did have, and I can't get into the details. We had one student that was not allowed to participate in the ceremony. Still graduated, still got diploma. But that was unfortunate. Sometimes those things happen. Otherwise, everything went very well.
I suppose the gym was what, Mike, 2/3 full probably?
2/3 full, yeah.
I'm thinking it was a hot day outside, but it wasn't too hot inside the
No.
gym.
It's pleasant.
It went good. Went too fast. The 6 valedictorians and salutatorians will be nice.
Speeches. Andrew Zitzer did a nice
Yeah,
job.
Andrew Zitzer did a nice job with
He had
that.
all those kids in middle school, he said. He was kind of excited. He said 5 of them, I think 5 of the 6 were going into some kind of science and higher
Yeah.
education.
He was impressed with that.
Yeah, he was impressed with that, so.
Mike gave him the diplomas and I flipped their tassel. And they don't have, they poked 2 kids in the eye. They bend their head down right when they took the tassel. 2 of them I got right in the eye. I turned out it went good.
Such as was mentioned, another thing I'll probably bring up at the July meeting is consideration of changing that ballot form slip form policy.
Yes.
Where we look at just having one of each, at the most 2, depending on going to like the 100th of a point for GPA. That's all I've got for assistant principal report. Look forward to bringing Greg on next year. We didn't invite him tonight. He couldn't make it. But since if we're going to be able to have a July meeting, then he might be able to make that.
When does he actually start? He asked me and I
believe
didn't know.
it's Susie, is it
I
August?
think it's
10
10
days
days
before
before
School
school
start.
starts.
So I think it's August 1st, really close, somewhere close to that day.
First Monday.
I think so. Yeah, he was gonna come tonight, but the staff in Anaconda, this was their last day of school and they had a barbecue and stuff for him, which is nice. Okay, activity director's report. Rock, you have anything?
Just give you a quick update on the kind of cap the spring sports.
Okay.
Softball ended up playing in the state playing game against Polson. They ended up losing that game, so they didn't qualify for the state tournament. They had a good year, but they kind of fell short there. Our tennis team, our boys ended up winning the divisional title. At the state tournament, our girls doubles team finished 6th. That was Shannon Martin and Gabby Thomas. And our boys single, Jack Robertson finished 5th. The track team, Izzy Regan was 4th in the shot put. Sage Tash 8th in the discus. Izzy was 6th. Tony Stoker 7th. Long jump, Cannon Christensen was 2nd, but he did break our school record with that jump. But so he finished 2nd. And then baseball finished the season 1 loss, ended up losing in the state championship game. So, but it was a great season.
How bad is Cohen Hartman hurt? Does anybody know?
I haven't heard exactly yet. I'm trying to get Zach was trying to touch base with him. They were going to the doctor last week to see where it was at. So
I talked to Sarah at the basketball tournament over the weekend, said they hadn't got him into the doctor
Not
yet.
yet.
They were going to it.
Yeah.
So.
So
Yeah, we were ahead 1-0 and he was pitching and
Yeah.
hurt his elbow and that was that.
Yeah.
Darn it.
BCHS grad was the coach for the winning team, though.
That's right.
Yeah.
There was some BCHS connection. Yeah, I know. And you were probably toward who you were cheering for, huh, Cole?
Yeah.
It's Cole's brother-in-law.
Yeah. Yeah, Hunter did a nice job.
Yeah, good for him.
no, other than that, we're just gearing up for next year ahead of meetings starting Sunday through Tuesday. Gym floors get refinished starting Monday.
So where do the kids go in the meantime?
They go to the Y.
Is that where the camps and stuff will be then, like the volleyball camp and all that, or will that be back?
It'll be back in here.
Okay.
They're just out through the 4th basically, and the Y's worked really well with us last, I think, probably since I've been here the last 5 years. So
We got summer camps on the horizon. Zach McCray tells me we've had 90 kids in the weight room,
Really?
which is it's way more than last. I think we're going to 3 sessions now, if that keeps up. So we got a bunch of hungry young kids out there that I'm shocked, honestly. School just got out. I think he's going to take a little time off. And man, they're focused on getting better and competing. It's pretty impressive.
Guess wrestling camp was pretty full.
yeah, no,
My daughters both went. They had a ball.
They're really
Yeah.
great.
no, it sounds like yeah, wrestling camp was full. The basketball camps were full. I know Todd's got tennis camp next week, I believe, starting, and then volleyball coming after in July. Football at the end of the summer, but yeah,
Did my daughter contact you about her little girl?
Yep.
Good.
we're all squared away. No, it's exciting.
That's neat. Thank you, Brock. Thank you for the great job you do. Anybody have any questions or comments for Brock? Hey, boss, we're on the consent agenda.
All right. Item 9.1, board consideration and possible approval of classified staff employment recommendations. This would be spring coaches for the 26-27 school year. You'll see the list. It's like that. If you have any questions, I'll direct you to Brock since he's here.
This is the list that starts with head coach Jason Truman, assistant coach. So you just need a motion to approve these positions. Oh, is that what you're looking for?
Motion to approve those hires.
Yeah.
These are the same staffs we had this past year, correct?
Yeah. Who is the assistant baseball coach that's not there? Is it Bartlett?
Bartlett, she's not going to do it again.
Okay. Anyway, I'd make a motion to approve the list of coaches.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the spring coaches for the upcoming year. Any comments or discussion? Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
All right, item 9.2, board consideration and possible approval of a classified staff employment recommendation for new coaches for fall and winter. So we just want to go one at a time on 9.21. That's Lindsay Branch for JV girls volleyball coach.
So who is she, Brock?
She was up at Western. She was the sports information director, and she's been an assistant girls softball coach. Right,
Okay.
Brooke?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. She's coached with Alyssa for a couple of years now.
Okay.
Mhm.
Do we want to do these all at once or do them separate?
And Brock, you recommend all these, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I would make a motion just to approve all four personally.
Okay, so 9.22 is Bobby Conan as the C Squad girls volleyball coach. 9.23 is junior Mata Afa. Pass on the first name.
He's the dad?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hasn't he been coaching at Western?
He did.
He did for a while.
But he hasn't.
He's been helping us out.
Yeah,
for
he's
the last
been- has he?
2 years.
Yeah.
Volunteered work.
Yeah, that's
So
nice.
he's a JV assistant football coach. I know he's also been, I see him at the flag football in middle school too. So I see him a lot.
He's very
He's a nice guy.
Good.
9.24 is my familiar name, Rick Nordahl, varsity assistant football coach. Bring back some of the glory years, maybe.
Yeah,
Well,
Nice.
good hire.
Will he
Questionable hire, really.
It's a really hard out right there.
Will he do the defense then, Brock? Do they know yet?
I think Todd will do the defense, but obviously Rick will be a big part of that now.
Nice.
Great. I'm glad he's getting back in.
Yeah.
He helped us a bunch in wrestling. And
Let's see how that goes.
He's great with wrestling.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, you know,
He's good.
as a father of a student that wrestles, I felt Todd was Rick was a big help this year with the program.
no, he was great when he was head coach, both as football and wrestling. He did a super job. So
Anyway, I'd make a motion to approve all four.
Second.
been moved and seconded to approve the four individuals we spoke about. Is there any discussion? Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Passes unanimously.
9.3, board consideration and possible approval to renew the district's speech therapy contract with Kitty Griffin.
Move to approve that.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the speech therapy contract with Kitty Griffin. Any discussion? Those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Passes unanimously.
Item 9.4, board consideration and possible approval to renew the interlocal agreement with District 10 for school psychology services. And I should have mentioned these documents are in your board packet.
Yes.
I would make a motion to approve the interlocal agreement with District 10 for the school psychology services.
I would second that.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the interlocal agreement with District 10 for the psychology services. Any questions or discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Passes unanimously.
Item 9.5, board consideration and possible approval to move the activity director position off the teacher salary matrix and make it an administrative level position with a beginning annual wage of $80,000.
I so moved to move the activity director position off the teacher matrix and make it an administrative level position with a beginning salary of 80,000.
That would bring us in line with some of the other Class A districts.
Yeah.
That have activity director only positions.
Second that.
Been moved and seconded to approve the activity director position to be an administrative level position with beginning annual wage of 80,000. I think that's a great way to go. Brock and I've talked about that some, and he's been on we've had the teacher matrix and then a stipend for it, and plus it gives Brock a raise besides, which I feel he definitely has earned with the hours he puts in and the thing he's done.
It is absolutely
So
administrative.
then the stipend goes away, just so everybody's clear.
Yeah,
This
the stipend will be gone.
salary position.
You're okay with that salary, Brock, and whatnot?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, sure appreciate, like I said, what you do and the time you put in and your involvement is an administrative position.
It
anyway, as far as
absolutely
I'm-
is. It absolutely is. He attends more events than anybody. Sure.
He's always there.
Always there, has two little helpers sometimes.
Mhm.
Sweeps the floors during halftime of the games.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Passes unanimously. That's it for consent agenda, I guess, to action items then, Josh.
10.1, I don't really have anything to vote on tonight for the ACET building. We kind of put that there as a placeholder in case we do.
Anyway, is the rest of the board okay with what
Yeah.
we came up with, spending this extra money to do this exterior? It just seemed to make the most sense by far.
We can't vote on it. I mean, it's on there if we would rather vote.
It seems like it makes complete sense.
I would agree.
Yeah.
It's an increase, but I think long-term, it's gonna be a whole lot better for us.
I think so.
Why don't we go ahead and do a vote? then?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do
that.
it.
To approve the facility committee's recommendation for the ACET building repair option to go with the EFS product.
I would make that motion.
Second.
Okay, that motion's been made and seconded. Is there any?
Whatever he said.
Yeah. Any discussion or question?
No, I think it's actually, I'm really
Yeah.
glad to see that this is a good solution.
Yeah.
It makes me
Yeah,
really pleased.
well, and especially where both Langless and Dan were kind of opposed
Yeah,
to it, and then they found this guy that has this good product, and boy, they both turned around really quick and checked the product out. So I feel they did a lot of research, and I think it's a best way to go. So.
yeah.
Any other discussion on it? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, passes unanimously.
Item 10.2, board consideration and possible approval of the annual MHSA dues for LCP, concussion, and the concussion plan. And so that's here, that's our concussion insurance enrollment, catastrophic liability enrollment, and annual dues for a total of $5,796. Should be in your board packet.
Yes. It's a must.
Do we get much use of the concussion and the catastrophic liability, Brock? Do we get many kids using that, or?
Hopefully not.
No, that wouldn't be for that.
Oh, it wouldn't be for that.
No, there's like a supplemental through the MHSA.
Oh, that's right, that's right.
I've had a few people. I'll obviously never see the end of it, but reach out and inquire about it.
It's just kind of a protection for us.
That is protection for us.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's insurance for.
You know
that
that
protection.
scenario that happened in Bell several years
Yeah.
ago. I mean, to me, it's for $5,000.
Yeah, we have to pay it to be part of the MHSA.
Okay.
And we get the coverage.
Yeah.
Of it.
I would make a motion to approve the annual MHSA dues, LCP and the concussion.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the MHSA annual dues and insurance premiums. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Passes unanimously.
Item 10.3, board consideration and possible approval of the student activity handbook for 26-27. Now, I emailed that separately because it's a longer document. Brock is again here with us tonight. I asked him to review it, revise it. Looks satisfactory to me. If we need to make more amendments, there's time. I know he's working on the coach's handbook as well. Maybe have that for July.
I wasn't able to look at it. Were there many changes made, or is it pretty much basically what we've done?
A lot of it's the same. There's some language change in what the physicals are now. We're kind of moving to a 2-year cycle with an interim, whatever they call it. Sorry, interim history form that needs to be filled out every year. Obviously, we're going to let parents decide if they want to get a physical every year or not, but it's not. You only need it for every 2 years.
Interesting.
Looking at changing, I highlighted that Dragonfly stuff in there. Maybe just say with Arbiter now, so make the switch to Arbiter, so all the Dragonfly language would be Arbiter instead of Dragonfly.
Great.
Did put a mission statement in there that aligned with our school mission statement. I added that. And then just an update to kind of the MHSA eligibility, just kind of change the language to match what's in the MHSA handbook now. It's changed. Seems like it changes every year, so.
Sure.
Yeah. Other than that, there's no major thing besides dates and the Dragonfly, the addition of the mission statement and the addition subtraction of the MHSA eligibility. So.
Do we want to just approve it based on the fact that, I would make that motion to approve the student activities handbook for 26-27.
Been moved and seconded to approve the student activities handbook for the upcoming year. Any other discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Passes unanimously.
Item 10.4, board consideration and possible approval of the MSP LIP property and liability insurance renewal. Also emailed that to you as well. Again, it only increased by a few $100, so pretty pleased with that.
Looks like all the coverages stayed the same.
Yes. And I'm visiting with Mark. He's coming over next week to kind of present it, to me, to give me a little more information about it.
So we need to at least approve the revised quote for that coverage, essentially.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I would make that motion to approve the 12-month contract renewal for the K-12, or no, I'm so sorry.
It's
For the property and liability
Property,
renewal. Yeah, sorry.
And we've been seconded to approve the renewal of the property and liability insurance for the upcoming year. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Passes unanimously.
Item 10.5, board consideration and possible approval of the proposed 12-month contract renewal with K-12 Montana for technology-related services. That's this one right here. And again, it's a little over $35,000. Half of that, which is you got half, it's about $18,000. They pay for it out of our REAP grant, and the rest we're either going to take out of our general fund or out of Flex. Leaning towards our Flex. Susie and I are going to work on that together as we kind of get close. If the board approves it. Again, the reasoning to have them stay on is they've been a big help to Paul. And as things are still new, we're getting staff used to some of the newness of it. It's just kind of nice to have them on for at least one more year.
I'd make that motion to approve the proposed 12-month contract renewal for the K-12 MT technology related service.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the contract renewal for a year for the K-12 MT technology related services product. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Passes unanimously.
Item 10.6, board consideration and possible approval of the proposed revision to the 26-27 academic calendar. Swapping that PIR and that holiday in January and February.
Motion to approve the proposed revised calendars, activity calendar.
Seconded to approve the proposed revision to the 26-27 academic calendar. Any questions of Josh or discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously.
Item 10.7. Board consideration and possible approval of the proposed adoption of the new textbook, College Algebra 11th edition by Ron Larson, for our recently added dual credit course in partnership with UNL.
I'd make that motion.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the adoption of the new textbook, College Algebra 11, for dual credit course. Any discussion or questions? I just think that's really cool that we can do a Algebra 2 dual credit. That's really neat. So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, passes unanimously.
Best thing about those dual credit courses is it's way cheaper to take them in high school. I mean, you get that 1-2 free, but even after that, I mean, it's a much reduced rate in high school than when you actually get to college. And I think it's great for our kids to take advantage of those, and if and when they can.
Yep.
Item 10.8. Board consideration and possible approval to allow the superintendent and business manager to allocate and spend the remaining budget for FY26. This is something we normally do every year just to make sure we get everything allocated and meet all of our federal and state responsibilities for funding and budgeting.
Just zeroes out the budget, and
Yeah.
most years we have some money left over that we can prepay next year's expenses with. Is basically what we use it for. So
That's exactly right.
it's super. Kudos to you guys for being able to manage the budget so that we have some money left over. That's pretty neat.
I would make that motion to approve the superintendent and the business manager can allocate and spend the remaining budget for fiscal year 26.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to allow Josh and Suzanne to allocate and spend the remaining budget for the remainder of the fiscal year. Any discussion or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Passes unanimously.
Lastly, item 10.9, board consideration and possible approval of my request for 5 additional use it or lose it days.
My only thought on that would be, can we find out actually how many you have? Because if you have 18, that changes the conversation a little bit
It does.
versus the 15. And then my only other thought on it would be, do you think part of that, Josh, is because you got stranded this year and had to use so many over graduation, that kind of unique scenario that wouldn't probably happen every year? Do you think that affected it?
Maybe a little, but I just would, even before that, I was thinking, because I had a reservation at about 25 days. And so it's different jobs.
Absolutely.
Different responsibilities.
Absolutely.
But no, I think when my daughter graduated, it just kind of hit me that, I don't want to miss
For sure.
activities, so maybe it's more of a sentimental thing, like, because I don't know what it is, my daughters, they don't do traditional stuff. And so I miss their things. And I don't want them to have memories of dad not being at their things.
Yeah.
So that was part of it. Cause I'm like, I'm going to go through a few of these. And if my parents come up to visit, I'd like to take some time to spend with them. And
Yeah. And how does yours compare to like just other administrators across the state? Is that pretty normal? The 18 or what? I mean, how many years you've been in
That's
this
based on
position?
years of service, isn't it? The amount of days that you get.
For the vacation?
Yeah.
Yes.
if you go with MTSBA, then yes, it goes with what the state and federal guidelines are.
Okay.
Every district different though. And so some give more and
Okay.
some don't. So
Okay.
it just depends.
Yeah. Actually, our leave for our previous one was one very different. I did pull up the Montana code thing,
Yes.
and it has years of employment. So 1 day through 10 years, you get 15 days of vacation. 10 years through 15, 18 days. 15 years through 20, 21, 20 or more, 20. Okay. Well, how many years you're reacting with him?
13, you said.
Next year will be 13.
So you'd be getting 18
So you're getting 18 days.
of vacation.
I guess my thought would kind of be to where you get the 18 and we already gave you 5, but use some discretion. I mean, I'm if your work is done and everything's going good, I'm not opposed to you taking a half a day or a day here to go watch your daughter in gymnastics or anything. If your leave has been used and your job is done and somebody can cover for you. I mean, I don't think we're gonna be so stringent that we have to follow everything right to a T, John.
Okay, I just
Well, and
wanted to make sure and get it clear to the board meetings. Every board's different. Some are like, they want it black and white.
Well, and like I have leave, but I work evenings and I work weekends and I did have to get the job done.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I would expect that of your position as well. I mean, you've got X amount of days, but if you're gonna take a Friday to go watch your daughter and you come in and you work all day Sunday, so be it. I mean, that's,
Because you're still gonna be held accountable for getting your job done.
Yeah.
Job done.
Yeah.
And if you don't get your job done, it doesn't matter if you didn't take it.
right, exactly. Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
That's
Yeah.
how I feel, but everybody feels different. I just want to make sure
Yeah,
we were all on the same page. So that's fine with me. I can withdraw that.
Okay.
'Cause I promise you I wouldn't abuse it.
no, exactly.
Obviously, I need to keep my job, support my family. It's got my first priority.
Right.
When it comes
Driving to
to-
Idaho for gymnastics is a great thing. Yeah.
When I started to think about it, I mean, my youngest will graduate in 6 years, so and I've got 6 years left, and then I'll have 2 graduate in the next 4. And so I was like, okay, this is kind of hitting me like
Yeah.
I need to spend time while I've got it.
Yeah,
It's
you do.
going by so fast.
You do.
That's what I think hit me with this almost graduate. Like, what happened?
Yeah.
Where'd the time go?
Yeah, sure.
No, I think as long as you just kind of monitor to use some discretion and make sure your work's done, I don't think there's a problem whatsoever. The rest of the board feel okay about that as well?
Yeah, I do. I'm sure you'll have your cell phone and be available for any important stuff, so.
Always.
I've got no
did
problem
a
with it.
Zoom meeting from Georgia when I was stranded there with our CTE committee for Perfects Grant, which has been submitted. So hopefully we get that funded.
Good, so I've already got it spent in my head.
I tried to skip it.
I spent today.
So if you're okay with doing it that way, I think the board is okay with
I'm fine
that.
with that.
Right? Nothing under litigation strategy?
Yeah, we don't have anything to update. Might in July though. So that's another reason why we might have that July meeting.
A July meeting would be July 13th. Does that work for everyone?
It's our typical second Monday, 7 p.m.
Sorry about having to change these last 2. I appreciate everyone working your schedules to meet mine, so. Anyway.
I was part of the culprit too, so just.
You're gonna give a report on your?
Yeah, exactly. Well, Greece was amazing. Everybody should go. And then Bruce stayed 3 weeks.
The bond for me, Roxanne.
I brought my computer. I was there, but I enjoyed it.
Did you drink any wine?
We drank wine for 19 days straight. And you question that every meal.
You should.
It wasn't like it's just different. We also had Greek salad at every meal. Sometimes it was offered at breakfast, but it was delicious. Tomatoes and cucumbers and feta cheese and I actually made it twice since I've been back. Yeah, absolutely. Put it on your list. Twice. That's for sure.
Okay, so the next meeting will be Monday, July 13th at 7 p.m. And somebody wants to adjourn this meeting, make a motion, and we'll get out of here.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
I
Thank you so much, everybody.
yeah, thanks.
Any questions?